Goshnar presents Ankrahmun.
Ankrahmun, the mysterious city nestled within the vast expanse of the desert, is shrouded in an aura of enigma and intrigue. Its ancient architecture, adorned with hieroglyphics and towering structures, whispers tales of a bygone era. Beneath the scorching sun, Ankrahmun guards its hidden treasures, buried beneath the shifting sands that hold secrets of untold riches and ancient wisdom. The labyrinthine alleys and concealed chambers within the city create a maze for adventurers seeking the elusive wealth rumored to lie within. Legends persist of magical artifacts and forgotten relics, waiting to be discovered by those daring enough to navigate the mysteries that Ankrahmun guards so closely. In South Kalabal, a young human race led by Banner raised a city around mysterious ancient structures and named it Ankrahmun. From the north, west and east, the city is fortified, with numerous guards atop an imposing wall watching day and night for any threat that might come from the orcs and other races. From the south, the city is surrounded by the ocean, whose shore is closely patrolled by soldiers on boats. There's no entering the city but via one of the three gates, eastern, western, and central. Rife with rather low-rise buildings, the city includes a marketplace, many taverns and bathhouses, and a shipyard. Two locations that deserve special attention are the magnificent gardens situated in the central part of the city and the most splendorous building of all, the palace, in which, should you believe the rumors, Banner himself resides. Fertile soil, lush vegetation, and access to the ocean provide the city with almost complete self-sustainability. Out of all structures raised by men, the most wondrous and splendid is undoubtedly the palace situated in the center of the Ankrahmun city. On the northern side of the palace, two watchtowers loom over the main entrance. As we cross the threshold, we find ourselves in a tremendous hall where we can admire the wonderful frescoes that decorate the three-story-high walls. One can also notice balconies, whence armed crossbowmen maintain security during the infrequent visits of the delegates from the continent. The upper floor holds private quarters, where Banner, the leader of the young race, lives, and where nobody, except for Banner himself and his most trusted guards, is allowed. The staff resides in the undergrounds, where the kitchens and storage rooms are located. Rumor has it that the underground levels also hide a shelter built in the event of an attack. Every child knows the sad fate of the Kalabal. Once it was brimming with life, a verdant paradise filled with lush forests and countless freshwater springs. The gods created this paradise and gave it to their newly made race, the humans, as a present. Protected on all sides by the sea or by insurpassable mountains, the Kalabal was the perfect environment for the young, vulnerable race to flourish and thrive it did. Guided by their leader Banner and endowed with amazing technical skills and knowledge by their creators, the humans managed to settle the whole Kalabal within few generations, and beautiful buildings rose to the sky, the mightiest of which were to be found in the majestic city of Ankrahmun. These early humans, who today are called the Founders, were a friendly race who lived in peace and harmony with each other, ignorant of the horrors lurking in the outside world. And the gods, who watched them from their thrones in the Kazial, smiled on them. Sadly, the bliss that marked the humans' early hours was not bound to last. The shadows, which in those days held the rest of the world in their cold grip, became aware of the humans and of their riches, and soon enough they began to plot the young race's destruction. Ferocious orcs built fleets and started raiding the southwestern coastline, while the north was threatened by eerie undead who began to spread their insidious poison among the terrified humans. Worse, The corruption slowly found its way into many of the humans' hearts, and strife and armed conflict erupted within the community. Some humans even fell for the morbid attraction of the undead. They went north to a place called Drefia, and it has later on become a source of the foulest corruption. The humans, who were not used to such challenges, were full of sadness and despair, and many cursed the gods, who apparently watched their plight in apathy. Little did they understand that all this was part of the gods' plan. It would take the humans a long time to understand that the very purpose of their race was to fight evil, and that their fate was not eternal bliss, but endless struggle. When no prayer was answered anymore, and no sacrifice rewarded, it became evident that the gods had indeed left the human race so that it would find a destiny of its own. But they did not leave the humans without guidance. There was Ankrahmun, the gods' chosen prophet, who carefully prepared them for the spiritual and ethical challenges that awaited them in a world full of treachery and evil. And there was Banor, the very first human, a champion of superhuman might and lifespan, who taught his people how to fight on the battlefield. It was he who founded the great city of Ankrahmun on ruined structures, remnants of an ancient civilization, and raised a strong army. And soon enough the new human armies proved themselves in fierce battles against their undead and orcish enemies. Their kind paid heavy prices in these costly battles, but they learnt to accept sacrifices, and it soon became apparent that the human race was here to stay. Eventually, only the fearsome jinns posed a real threat to the human race. They defeated the humans in several important battles, using their fearsome magic and their skill with the scimitar. However, just when the situation appeared to be most dire, Ankrahmun, the revered human prophet, entered the scene and helped to neutralize the jinn threat in a way nobody had foreseen. Through the force of his convictions, Ankrahmun managed to lead Gable, the jinn's famous king, onto the path of truth and redemption. It has been insinuated that he acted purposefully to sow the seeds of disunity among the jinn race, but considering his personal integrity, this seems unlikely. Whatever his motives, though, Ankrahmun's teachings caused a bitter controversy among the jinns, and eventually a fierce civil war broke out. This did a lot to ease the situation for the humans, but Banner was clear-sighted enough to know that his race would sooner or later get involved into the conflict. It was not hard to work out for him which side to support. Under the influence of Ankrahmun's teachings, Gable, his former enemy, openly propagated peaceful coexistence between humans and jinns. Banor accepted this offer in the name of all humans and formed an alliance with the Marid. It was only logical then that the alliance fought side by side in the Battle of Ankrahmun against the Efreet, who had secretly allied with the Dreffian necromancers. A cataclysmic firestorm unleashed by the Efreet set the whole Khalabal and the city of Ankrahmun ablaze, forever turning what used to be a paradise into a barren wasteland. Countless human lives were lost in the magic inferno, and the survivors found that their homes had been destroyed. Faced with a choice of slowly starving to death or leaving their native land forever, a large group of survivors followed Banor on his quest for a new home. Their exodus triggered a chain of events that eventually resulted in the cataclysmic wars of the unliving, but it was also the fateful moment when the humans' slow but steady conquest of the whole of Tibia started. But that is a different story.